You would think winning the Heisman Trophy and being named the MVP of the NFL, not just once, but probably twice, would label you as a really good player. But for Lamar Jackson, that isn't the case.
You don't think Lamar Jackson's the most valuable player in the National Football League?
No, I don't. I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky. And to me, Lamar Jackson's just a great athlete. Prisoners of the moment, he is not the MVP.
Lamar came into the NFL as a star, winning the MVP in only a second year. He was on top of the NFL world. But just as fast as he rose to the top, the media tore him down, having bad luck in the playoffs and unfortunately getting injured again and again when it mattered the most. Lamar Jackson was being counted out. But now, in 2023, Lamar has created a quarterback that defenses cannot stop, no matter how hard they try. Lamar is currently only one game away from being in a Super Bowl and is the favorite to win the MVP trophy yet again. So, how did Lamar Jackson rise to the top, fall all the way to the bottom, and rise again to lead the most dominant team in the entire NFL and prove everyone wrong? Lamar Jackson was born in Pompano Beach, Florida in 1997. He would begin to play Pop Warner football from a very young age, being trained mainly by his father. At only 8 years old, he would be outplaying and outrunning all the other kids and could throw the ball 20 yards. Lamar stood out every time he stepped on the field, and after seeing what he was capable of, Lamar had dreams to play in the NFL. Football had been going well for Lamar, and the future was looking pretty good, but that wouldn't last forever. At only 8 years old, Lamar would lose both his dad and his grandma on the same day. He would be left struggling with his mom and his 3 siblings. As any other kid, this took a toll on Lamar, but his mom would be right there to motivate him, train him, and help him stay the course with football. Lamar would begin attending Santa Lucia's Community High School and would join the football team, but he would get almost no playing time, so he would transfer somewhere else. In his junior year of high school, Lamar would begin attending Boynton Beach Community High School. There, he would be named the starter for the football team. In his 2 years there, Lamar threw for over 2,200 yards, 31 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions. However, you can probably expect that passing wasn't the only thing he did. He also ran for over 1,600 yards and 22 touchdowns. Lamar was pretty alright in his 2 years as a high school quarterback. The only problem though is that he wasn't very efficient, having only a 42% completion rate in his junior year, but jumping all the way to 54 in his senior year. Lamar did put up some numbers in his high school career, but scouts and coaches didn't really see him as a good quarterback. Everyone knew he was a great athlete, but he hadn't really proved himself as a good passer, which is why he was rated only a 3-star recruit.
What kind of message do you want everybody else in the district to know about you guys? Be ready.
Lamar would still get a good amount of offers from schools like Florida, Georgia, and Ohio State to name a few. Lamar wanted to stay in Florida and sign with the Gators, but after the scout that recruited him got fired, he went with his gut feeling and committed to the Louisville Cardinals. Lamar would become the starting quarterback for the team in his true freshman season. He would make his debut against Auburn, and on his first play of the game, Lamar would throw an interception. Lamar's first season in college had some ups and downs, but the last game of the season is when he showed everyone what he was capable of. In the Music City Bowl against Texas A&M, Lamar would throw for 227 yards and 2 touchdowns, and also ran for 226 yards and 2 additional touchdowns. Lamar finished the season with over 1,800 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, but also had 8 interceptions. He also ran for almost 1,000 yards and had 11 rushing touchdowns. Even though the season had been pretty good, it would pale in comparison to what Lamar Jackson would do next. In the first game of the 2016 season, Lamar would complete 17 of his 23 passes for 286 yards and 6 touchdowns. He scored a total of 8 touchdowns in only the first half of the game. Lamar led the Louisville Cardinals to a record of 9-4 and had over 3,500 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions, and also had almost 1,600 rushing yards and 21 rushing touchdowns. It's no surprise that Lamar was the best player in college football that year, which is why he was named the winner for the Heisman Trophy in 2016. Lamar became the youngest Heisman winner ever at only 19 years old. By the 2017 season, everyone knew who Lamar Jackson was. Lamar played at the same elite level as last year, letting everyone know that what he was doing wasn't a fluke. He ended the 2017 season with more or less the same stats as the year prior, and he was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy again, but would fall short to Baker Mayfield. After 3 years in college, Lamar declared for the 2018 NFL Draft. However, there was still one problem. Many NFL scouts still thought he was incapable of being a quarterback. A lot of people said that he was a good athlete and would be a better fit at a wide receiver, but despite what all the scouts and critics said, Lamar let everyone know he was a quarterback.
The other teams, but I'm a quarterback. That's all I've been all my life. I don't know where it comes from, but I'm here to be a quarterback, not anything else.
Lamar would fall all the way to the 32nd overall pick and would be chosen as the 5th quarterback of the 2018 draft by the Baltimore Ravens. In Baltimore, Lamar Jackson would be sitting behind veteran quarterback Joe Flacco for his first year. He would get some minutes here and there, but it wouldn't be until Flacco was put on injured reserve that Lamar would get his first NFL start. Lamar's starting debut would come in Week 11 versus the Bengals. He would complete 13 of his 19 passes for 150 yards and ran for 117 more. They won the game 24-21. Lamar led the Ravens to a 6-1 record in the final 7-game stretch of the season, finishing with a record of 10-6 and securing a spot in the playoffs. Lamar had been excellent to end the season, but that didn't translate at all in the postseason. In the wildcard game versus the 12-4 Chargers, Lamar completed only 14 of his 29 passes for 2 touchdowns, but also had 1 interception, 3 fumbles, and was sacked 7 times. Lamar and the Ravens had played poorly, and the media didn't hold back. But even though the season had ended on a bad note, one thing was still certain: Lamar Jackson had a lot of potential. And 2019 is when he would show everyone how good he truly was. In Week 1 against the Dolphins, Lamar would complete 17 of his 20 passes for 324 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Ravens won that game 59-10 and made a statement. The Ravens would lose in Week 3 and 4, but after that they went on a 12-game winning streak. Lamar led the Ravens to a record of 14-2 with some insane numbers, throwing for over 3,000 yards on a 66 completion rate, 36 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions, and also had over 1,200 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. Lamar was by far the best and most valuable player in the 2019 season, and it wasn't even close, which is why Lamar received all 50 votes and unanimously won the MVP. Lamar was the best player in the league, and the Ravens were the best team in the regular season, but little did anyone know what would happen next. The 14-2 Ravens and the 9-7 Titans would be facing off in a divisional round. The Ravens would get stunned by the Titans in an embarrassing 28-12 loss.
We just beat ourselves. You know, I had a lot of mistakes on my behalf. 3 turnovers that shouldn't happen.
Lamar's 2 playoff losses stained his public image. He was seen as someone who couldn't perform in the playoffs. The Ravens would find success in the next season, finishing 11-5 and securing another playoff spot. They would face the Titans again in the wildcard game and would defeat them 20-13, and Lamar would get his first ever playoff victory. But in the divisional round against the 13-3 Bills, they would get absolutely destroyed 17-3. Lamar threw for 162 yards and an interception before getting injured and ruled out the game, and this would become a pattern in the next few seasons. In the 2021 season, he led the Ravens to an 8-4 record before being injured and ruled out for the season. The Ravens would lose the remaining 5 games of the season. And then in 2022, Lamar led the Ravens to a 7-4 record before, yet again, being injured and ruled out for the season. However, the Ravens would still keep some momentum and qualify for the playoffs, but would fall short in a 24-17 loss to the Bengals. One thing was clear: the Ravens needed Lamar Jackson, but if he consistently put his body on the line for some extra yards, he would never stay healthy, which is why in the 2023 season, Lamar made some changes to his playstyle. But before any of this were to happen, Lamar wanted something first. Lamar was asking for an insane amount that the Ravens refused to meet, and Lamar even requested a trade from the Ravens. But after going back and forth for some time, the Ravens eventually let up and gave Lamar a 5-year, $260 million contract. The media ridiculed Lamar for asking for so much money when the most he had done was win a wildcard game. The Ravens did their part. Now it was Lamar's turn. In 2023 really was a make or break year because the Ravens already had an amazing defense and brought in receivers like OBJ and Zay Flowers to help Lamar. Everything was set up perfectly for the Ravens to dominate and make a deep playoff run, and that's exactly what they did. Lamar this season led the Ravens to a record of 13-4. Keep in mind, they had one of the hardest schedules in the league this year and still came on top as the #1 seed. Lamar ended the season with a career high in passing yards with almost 3,700 and also a career high completion rate of 67.2. Like I said earlier, Lamar took a different approach this season. He prioritized passing the ball more and running only when he needed to. Lamar is a crucial piece of this Ravens team, which is why he is a front runner for the MVP trophy once again. The Ravens just destroyed the Texans in the divisional round 34-10, and Lamar has brought the Ravens to his first ever conference championship. This is the farthest Lamar has ever gone in the postseason, and he has everything he needs to win a Super Bowl. As of right now, Lamar is probably the best quarterback in the entire league, and is once again on top of the NFL world. Unfortunate playoff losses and injuries have without a doubt stained his image, and many people are doubting what he's capable of. But honestly, it's been happening his whole life. In high school, he was told that he wasn't good enough for the next level, and in college, after winning the Heisman Trophy and breaking records, NFL scouts still didn't believe he could do it at the next level. And now, in the NFL, after winning the MVP maybe not just once, but probably twice, people still think he doesn't have what it takes to bring Baltimore a ring. Lamar made a promise when he got drafted by the Ravens. Let's see if he can continue the pattern that's been happening his entire life and prove everyone wrong yet again.
Looking forward to being a Raven.
What are they getting?
Everything out of me. They gonna get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that.